Monday, September 11th, 2017, Monaco 64 here. So early market update. It's 7:30 a.m. London. And last night, just before I went to bed, I had a look at the markets at 11 p.m. London, which is the Globex open for gold and silver. And by Globex, I mean the after hours or the pre-market open for COMEX. And at 11 o'clock exactly, when COMEX opened through Globex, gold just dumped down to 1333. It was a straight down dump. And we know that gold closed at 1346 last week, had a good week. The stock market had a bad week, was down, the Dow was down 7/8%, S&P down 2/3%. Not great. And so late yesterday, when the markets are at its thinnest, really, we see this concerted action, to smack gold and silver down and, get the stock market higher. It's pretty blatant. Do I think it's going to be successful? No, I don't think so. I think the trends have changed and gold and silver are on their way up, and the stock market is not really doing that well. It kind of topped, in my opinion. The reasons they've given, I've read a few things, a few headlines. They're saying that there's nothing out of North Korea, everything's quiet in North Korea, so things are fine. But last week, gold was doing well and silver were doing well, while North Korea was pretty quiet and things were, not really too bubbly out there. I think there's a lot more to gold and silver than North Korea. The fundamentals, the huge amount of debt that the world is in, the failed monetary policies where we're supposed to be doing really well economically, but rates are still almost at zero. And a lot of central banks are still printing loads of money. So anyway, gold right now is 1336. We got down, as I said, right on the Globex open, which is 6 p.m. New York time, down to 1333. And now we're at 1336. We did get back up right after the open. It rebounded fairly quickly, got up to 1340, but it failed to get above that level. So I think now they're looking at 1340 as a level here to try to defend. Silver traded down to 1771 and is now 1782. And it got up to 1801. What about the Dow? Well, the Dow is up 140 at 21,937. It's been up as much as 150, so up 2/3%. So almost kind of reversing its drop from last week. S&P futures up 12.75%, up 0.5%. The dollar is a little stronger, particularly against the yen. That's what also hurt gold on the open there. Dollar's up 0.5% against the yen at 108.42, up 57 pips. The pound is only 8 pips lower at 131.85, and the euro still above 120, 120.15, down just a 1/5%. So that's what went on, late Sunday, London time yesterday, or, early evening New York, just a concerted action. And you can see, I looked at the Kitco chart, which is quite good because it shows the open, Globex open, US open underneath. And it was a straight down line. It's strange because with all that's going on, in Florida with the Irma, and there's talk now, Goldman Sachs said they're revising the GDP lower because of the hurricanes. It doesn't look like the Fed's gonna raise rates anymore in December, nor, in September. I think it's this week they're gonna meet, so they're not definitely gonna raise this week. Yeah. Interesting, frustrating for people who follow gold, who have been invested in gold. I mean, for traders it's difficult, but for longer term holders of gold, I see this as just, you know, rear guard action. You know, it's not really going to last. The trend is still higher. So I'd like to talk as well this morning about Frederic Bastiat and this book, The Law. I'll try now regularly to quote a few passages of the book. I think it's a really interesting book. And who was Frederic Bastiat? Well, he was a statesman, essayist, and economist. Frederic Bastiat was a renowned champion of individual freedom and the law. First published in 1850, is Bastiat's most famous and enduring work. He was a French philosopher, economist, and he died in 1850, by the way. And says the law has been acclaimed for more than a century as the classic moral defense of liberty and limited government. Here's a timeless message of immutable principle. In the immortal words of one of history's most courageous thinkers and brilliant writers. So here's some comments about Bastiat. One by Joseph Schumpeter, who's a famous economist, says, the most brilliant economic journalist who ever lived, Václav Klaus, former Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, a great prophet of liberty, the free society, and the free market. So, and the reason why I've thought about Frederic Bastiat is that recently, with all the natural disasters in Texas and Florida, there are some economists who still come out and say that in the long term it will be positive for the economy. And this is what Frederic Bastiat identified as the broken window fallacy. You know, that people think that just because, let's say, your window broke and you have to get someone to fix it is going to help the economy. Because the guy who's going to fix your window is going to get paid for it, you know, the parts. But it doesn't help you, though. You're out of pocket. So that's the broken window fallacy. So I'm going to go through, I'm not going to go in any order. I'm just going to flip through the book. Because he's got little snippets kind of about things. And he says under, I just flipped open here, and it says the law and charity. And he said, and I'm quoting all of this, of course. It says, you say there are persons who have no money, and you turn to the law. But the law is not a breast that fills itself with milk, nor are the lacteal veins of the law supplied with milk from a source outside society. Nothing can enter the public treasury for the benefit of one citizen or one class unless other citizens and other classes have been forced to send it in. If every person draws from the treasury the amount that he has put in it, it is true that the law then plunders nobody. But this procedure does nothing for the persons who have no money. It does not promote equality of income. The law can be an instrument of equalization only as it takes from some persons and gives to other persons. When the law does this, it is an instrument of plunder. And he goes on to say, with this in mind, examine the protective tariffs, subsidies, guaranteed profits, guaranteed jobs, relief and welfare schemes, public education, progressive taxation, free credit, and public works. You will find that they are always based on legal plundered, organized injustice. So that's my snippet for Frederic Bastiat this morning. I'll try to read a few more of these, you know, in my next videos. I think it's really interesting. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share it far and wide, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.